Today we're talking about 4.7, inferences for experiments. The first thing that we're going to be discussing, or really one of the only things that we're going to be discussing, is called a completely random design. So don't have the pen out. Completely random design. So completely random design is when the experimental units are assigned to experiments or treatments are assigned to experimental units completely at random. So I like to think of this as the outline for the experiments. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to create a completely random design or an outline for Mr. LaCal's caffeine experiment. So this is what we talked about in 4.6. Let me just scroll up real quick. So in 4.6, we're talking about, these are those notes. See, 4.6, woo. We're talking about how Mr. LaCal wants 20 students to volunteer to participate in the caffeine experiment. And we had to describe how he was going to randomly assign those 10 students. Now, the outline is kind of the big picture, how the experiment is going to run. So what we're going to be starting with is we start exactly where he starts, where he's got 20 volunteer students. Now, from these 20 volunteer students, he is going to complete a random assignment. Now, when he does that random assignment, that is whenever he is either going to use identical slips of paper or he's going to use a random number generator. Not entirely sure which method he's going to use, but he's going to do some kind of random assignment to randomly assign students to two separate groups. Now, there may be a case where there is a third option, in which case you would just draw 3 arrows. But for this experiment, he is giving one group caffeine, and he is giving one group a placebo. So group 1, in our outline, we're going to say that consists of 10 students. We're going to number how many people are actually in this first group. And then for the other one, we're going to do the same for group 2. We're going to say that also consists of 10 students. Okay. From there, after the groups are assigned, 2 things are going to happen at the same time. If they're in group 1, they're going to get the treatment, which in this case would likely be caffeine, so probably coffee. In the other group, the treatment they will be receiving is the placebo, because they're going to be the control group. They get no caffeine. They are sad. But they don't know, because I'm pretty sure he's doing a single blind experiment. Now, after they are given their treatments of either the caffeine or the placebo, we are going to compare the results. And the results are most likely going to be different heart rates. So what was their heart rate in the beginning? What was their heart rates in the end? Heart rates of average. Now, if he wanted to go more in depth, what he could say is right here, instead of jumping straight into the random assignment, he could say take heart rates. And then go through it that way. So the outline can be super detailed. Most of the time, an outline for an experiment just looks like this. It's just, we have this many people that volunteered. We're going to put them in a random sample, and then we're going to split them up. This group is going to get caffeine or the placebo, and this group is going to get the other thing, and then compare the results in the end. Okay? Now, there is one more word that we're going to talk about, and that is, it's kind of a tongue twister. Try to say it 3 times fast if you can. It is statistically significant. So statistically significant is an observed difference between the responses between the groups in an experiment that is so large that it is unlikely explained by random chance variation in the assignment. So whenever we say that something is statistically significant, that means that the treatment that was given was likely the cause. There could be no other explanation for what happened other than the treatment did something to influence the results so much that it was significant, that it was important. It was a great difference. Okay, so that is all of 4.7. That is inferences for experiments, how to create an outline for a random design, and then also a preview back to 4.6 to how to create in a random assignment.